Welcome back to episode 12 of the Trade-Off podcast. My name is Ryan.
And I'm Alex.
And Trump is back in power.
And the world has not ended.
The world has
not ended. We are all right.
Many people panic, but he won the vote. So a lot of people are actually in his favour, even though you get a lot of the Trump haters online.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but you couldn't have voted for fucking Kamala Harris, could you?
No, definitely not.
I don't remember one policy. I heard about 16 hours of her talking, and all she said was that she was a middle-class woman from a middle-class family who got the school bus to school.
Yeah, and worked in McDonald's, apparently.
Apparently, but there's no proof. There's actually no proof of that.
Just gave Trump more ammunition to absolutely blitz her.
And the funny thing is about Trump, right? You can say what you want about him, but politicians in this country, they're usually rich kids. Mm-hmm. Well, politicians in every country, really. Rich kids.
Yeah.
They go to university, they've got no life experience.
No.
They then come out, start making decisions about the everyday person based on what they learned in college and university, not about what they've learned in life. No. And funny enough, the country just is a fucking shithole.
And it's a shithole. And the reason why Trump is different, and this is why I actually like Trump, and I've watched a lot of documentaries on Trump. He did have a wealthy dad, and he could have just inherited
a small business loan of $1 million.
Yeah. And he could have just literally just stayed that guy, but he didn't. He carried on grafting. He's made connections. Yeah. He had real world negotiations, real world business he's built from scratch. Yeah. He has real world experience. He knows how to run a country. He knows what's a good deal, what's not a good deal. Don't forget, a lot of how the country runs and how a country starts to flourish is to do with trade negotiations as well.
Exactly.
Can Kamala Harris negotiate? Is she about to negotiate for anything in her life? I don't know. I don't think so. So you've also got to think, it doesn't matter who people particularly like or who they actually want. It matters what that person can actually do for the greater good.
And I think it comes down to...
Trump's the guy.
If you actually look at what people are worried about, okay, he has some extreme opinions, a lot of which have been clickbaited to make it look like he's more extreme than he is.
Trimmed up, taken out of context.
But I mean, for the last 4 years, we've had a guy in charge that he didn't even know he was the fucking president, I don't think, did he? For most of the time, he was off his head. So when you look at everyone that's complaining about Trump, because we're going to lead on to some things about trading, but when you actually look at Trump, one of the main things is that the economy flourished under him. Whether or not you like him or not, the facts of the matter are that the American economy was at an all-time high. Immigration was down, inflation was down, unemployment was down, and the economy was up, and the average earnings were up.
Earnings are up, yeah.
Under Biden, illegal immigration is through the roof, jobs are down, inflation is through the roof, national debt is up.
Yeah.
I mean, to a point that I think there's like 3 trillion. I think they've got about $3 trillion in debt. Now, to put that into perspective, at the interest rate they pay, that's 800 billion of interest alone. So America have to pay 800 billion in interest payments
a year
before they start to clear any of the debt. Before COVID happened, this is the good thing about having a businessman in charge of a country. Before COVID hit, they were at a point where they were going to start paying back on the national debt. So they were going to start clearing the actual debt, not the interest. So that just goes to show, really, how good he is for the economy. Whether or not you believe in anything else he says, we don't want to get ourselves fucking cancelled here.
No, but when we say economy, I don't just think he's good for the US economy. I think he's good for the world economy.
Yeah, well, trade negotiations. He's not going to take any shit from him. Can you imagine Kamala Harris and Joe Biden walking in with Putin?
God.
And no wonder the war's still going on.
Yeah.
Joe doesn't remember what he said in the last meeting.
No. Good old Joe.
Sleepy Joe.
But I think with Trump, guys, I think it's going to be a good run over the next 4 years.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge. Him being the 47th president. I think already we've seen in the markets, Bitcoin is nearly at 90k.
Yeah, the dollar is flying.
The dollar's flying. This is all positive initial impact just from Trump being in charge. Why? Because he's actually got a brain that fucking works. So that's obviously going to give him the upper hand over the Joe Biden administration. But also, like we said, Trump does know what he's doing. He's done this before. He was the 45th president. He's done all this before. And when he was in charge before, things did happen for the good. So is it going to happen for the good again?
And all these women out there shaving their head and worrying about the world because Trump's been elected. God. Just remember, everyone, that he was the president before, and the world didn't end. No one got nuked. Oh, everyone's fine. He didn't kill all transgenders or ban gay people.
Well, what it is that the way he says stuff scares people because he doesn't say things very presidential.
No, but he says it. He wants a reaction. He wants a reaction.
Have you seen that clip of when it was? I'm trying to think who they caught. They caught a terrorist. I can't remember the terrorist's name. And Trump does a speech. We've caught this terrorist, and he died like a dog. You know. But when they caught Osama bin Laden, right? And Barack Obama, he was like, we got him, we secured the facility, and everything was all done professional. But it's the way that Trump says stuff. He's very black and white. He doesn't say things very presidential, and that scares some small-minded people. Yeah. And I understand that. Things are scary in a small-minded world. But don't forget who he is. He's not this political guy who's grown up and been taken through this massive political system.
And I think another thing that's going to be good as well for the economy is when you look at UK politics, you've got the healthcare minister, you've got the education minister. The healthcare minister has never been in healthcare. He's never been a doctor or a GP or anything like that. The education secretary has never been a teacher. So they don't actually know. All it is they're buddies from university. And they're giving them jobs. The good thing about Trump is he takes people that are fitted to a role, he's going to put them in. Yeah. So he's finding roles for Elon Musk, for Robert Kennedy, for all these people that can actually...
They're professionals,
in that role. There's absolutely no good doing it any otherwise. And I think the good thing that we're going to see is, there's agencies for everything in America. There's like 400 and something agencies. So when you think about all of the kind of red tape you've got to go through to get anything done, he's going to get rid of all of that. He's going to make it so that you can get stuff done, which is, at the end of the day, getting shit done.
Speed is important.
Yeah.
Speed is important.
How this rolls on to today's topic is we're going to talk about fundamentals, which obviously, as we've seen, can have a huge effect on the market. Anyone that was looking at the market on Tuesday and Wednesday last week will see what it did. Right, huge boom in the dollar. Euro USD dropped. All other USD pairs, kind of, if it was USD based, it rocketed. If it was the secondary currency, it plummeted. The reason for this is because of the election. But we don't just see it with the election, do we, Ryan?
No, you can see it with news all throughout the week. Now, for those who don't know what fundamentals is, for us traders, we need to keep an eye on the fundamentals, because fundamentals is something that's happened around the world.
Yeah,
it could be an interest rate decision. It could be an election, right?
Unemployment.
Could it be unemployment? A war could break out. All these things affect the movement of currency. Therefore, it affects the movement on the charts that we're trading.
100%.
That's why we need to be keeping an eye on fundamentals. That's why you don't really want to be trading around an election, because it becomes a lot more risky.
Yeah, it's gambling.
It is gambling. And we're not here to gamble. We're here to let our edge play out on markets which show typical and usual patterns and characteristics. And when the market changes its characteristics, because there's an election, do we want to be trading with that? Do you want to be fucking with that? Not really, because I've just lost my edge. So you will see some traders online that say, I've made this much on the election. And there'll be lots of traders that didn't make no money trading the election. I personally don't think anyone actually really made money that shows it on social media on the election. Most of it just demo account.
Well, especially prop firms and stuff, some of the prop firms increase their spreads to 30, 40 pips.
Yeah, some brokers wouldn't let you trade.
Yeah, so trade on it's a little bit smoke and mirrors, isn't it, a lot of the time?
A bit of smoke and mirrors, but you got to look at the realistic expectations of trading on the election. You just got to go to the casino and just go on red or black. Simple as that. If you're going to do that, why are you trading anyway?
Yeah. One of the main things when it comes to news is something called NFP, which is the first Friday of every month. So when we get news and fundamentals, because fundamentals is just a big word for news, really.
Yeah.
Comes in 3 different types. We have yellow folder, orange folder, red folder. Basically low impact, mid impact, high impact. Okay. Now, low and mid, I don't really worry about. It's no real bearing on the market.
Sometimes a little blip.
Yeah, a little blip.
Nothing major.
And usually, red folder news doesn't actually have that massive an effect. But what it does do is increase spreads, increase volatility, and you don't really want to be involved in that. So we've got a huge one called NFP, which is really the big one. There's a big 2 or 3 US dollar newses. Now that happens on the first Friday of every month. NFP stands for non-farm payroll, or no fucking point. That's what I call it. No fucking point trading. Just wake up on the Friday, take the day off.
Take the day off. Yeah. Don't forget, as a trader, you can pick your battles. So if you're learning to trade, you're currently trading. Not every day is going to be a trading day. So you need to look at the market. So, okay, there's NFP news today, or there's an election this week.
Yeah.
Why would you want to try and trade through that? Because only you can pick your battles. No one is saying to you, you have to press the button, buy or sell today.
Yeah.
You can opt out of the market and say, actually, these are not favourable conditions for me. I'm not going to trade today, or I'm not going to trade this week. I'd rather wait until the market conditions are more favourable for my strategy and how I like to trade. Simple.
And the easiest way to do this is just by looking at a Forex calendar, Forex Factory.
Yeah, Forex Factory I use.
Yeah, that's what I use. So you can look at a calendar and it will tell you the news, what's coming out that day, the time, and what currency it's going to affect. You can also get a breakdown of what it means. But the most important thing is just to avoid it, in my opinion anyway. Obviously, what we say is not the be-all and end-all. There's people out there that will tell you different.
It's just what's worked for us.
Yeah. There's a lot of, obviously, funds and institutions that purely trade fundamentals. However, you have to think that they're trading direct to market, number one.
Yeah.
So they haven't got spread. They're not worried about slippage because they're trading 0.25% of 25 billion. You know, millions and millions and millions of pounds.
Different ball game and level to where we're all at as retail
where
traders.
we are as retail traders, it's just not viable. And the main reason, the main cause for concern is not because we don't know which way we think it's going to go, because a lot of the time the news goes in the direction you think it's going to go. However, it's the market and trading is not about whether you know where the market's going to go. It's can I get in safely on the way to where it's going to go. If you can't do that, then it's not trading.
No.
But with fundamentals, something that happens a lot of the time is slippage, which can be a right pain in the ass.
Yeah, and that happens more so with prop firms.
Yes.
So if you have your own personal trading account with, say, a reputable broker like IC Markets, you won't get that much slippage because they're going to get you out at your stop loss. So, first of all, let's take a step back. What is slippage? Slippage is where the market moves so quickly, say, because there's been news.
Yeah.
So loads of liquidity hits the market, rushes through your stop loss. The broker cannot get you out of that trade at your stop loss. It can't do it quick enough. So now the price has moved through your stop loss. You risk 1%, you've now lost 2%. You got it. Have I lost 2%? The broker should have got me out. You don't really see that as much with a personal funded account, but you will see that happen with prop firms.
Yes.
Because that gives prop firms a little edge, right? So if you get slipped out a bit on a prop firm and they don't want to pay you out for whatever reason, that's a good excuse for them. So bearing in mind, I'd say over 90% of traders are trading prop firms nowadays. You need to be playing the game and you need to know how to play the game correctly so you can survive, you can get those withdrawals and you're making that profit. You don't want to be slipped out for multiple percents because you wanted to hold a trade through news.
And not just that, if you're using a prop firm, saying, let's say your max daily drawdown is 5%. Let's say you're at 3.5% drawdown and you're like, right, okay, I'm going to take one more position. I'm going to take it on this news event because I think that I've got a good understanding of where it's going. What then you do is you risk 1%. So the worst case scenario that you believe in your head is that you'll lose 4.5% overall, one additional percentage. Instead, you get slipped and you lose 1.5 or 2%. That's it. Challenge gone. So you're not playing with things that you can kind of understand and that you can control.
Yeah. You can't control it. But at the end of the day, the broker and the prop firm relationship is what has control over your funded trading account. And I'm talking about funded trading accounts more because, like I said, 90% of traders,
the majority of people these days
are using funded trading accounts. Which then brings you on to the next step, which no one really has thought about before. We had, let's say, up until about 5 years ago, everyone was just trading personal accounts. Everyone. So you had all these retail traders in the live market, right? In the market space. Now, 90% of these retail traders are trading prop firm accounts, which are majority of, I'd say most of, are just demo accounts, which means the markets have changed.
Yes.
Because you haven't got as many retail traders trading and participating in the actual real life markets.
I think sensible traders, if you're a sensible trader, right, a prop firm is a really good way to get yourself into the trading space, have a large amount of capital to trade, to make profit off. Because a lot of people will say a prop firm account, okay, well, if you've got a 100 grand prop firm account, it's leveraged. So really you're just aggressively trading a 10 grand account, which is fine. That is true. However, you're still getting the profits that you're making off of 100 grand. So it doesn't fucking matter whether it's a 1 grand or a 10 grand. Yeah, with no risk attached. So if you have an understanding of what a prop firm is and you use it to your advantage, then I think a smart thing to do is get the money from your prop firm account. And this is the two different kinds of people.
Yeah.
One person's going to make 8 grand from a prop firm account, right? Take home, obviously 10 grand, they take 8 grand home. They're going to use that 8 grand to live. They're going to live to their income.
Treat themselves, buy themselves something.
However, if your expenses are like 3 grand, take that 3 grand, put it in there, put the rest in your own personal account.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you've got your own trading account. This is,
it's been built up on prop firms, not your own hard-earned money.
You can trade through news. There's no restrictions. You've got no drawdown limits.
Trade how you want to trade.
Trade exactly how you want to trade. Because prop firms, a lot of them actually put restrictions on news. So this is a really important thing. If you are looking to get into trading and your back testing has been built around trading a lot of fundamental news, that's great if you've got your own money.
Yeah.
If you're trading prop firm capital, they're not going to let you do that. All right. And if they do let you do that, they're going to slip you hard.
Yeah. And most of them don't want to let you do that because they know that news is risky.
Exactly.
And they're a prop firm, so they don't know what they're talking about.
Trading is risky, but one of the main things you have to take away from trading is you can't control anything about the market. No. You've got no say in how far it moves, when it moves, where it goes. The only thing you can control is when you choose to trade or not to trade.
Yeah, and what risk you choose to use.
It.
That's why a lot of people from the higher echelons of men and women can't actually trade that well because they're so used to being in control. The CEOs, they're in control of these big corporations. When it comes to trading, all that control's gone.
They can't relinquish it.
Yeah, and they can't do it. They can't trade. So to be able to become a trader, you need to really be able to kind of take a step back. You need to assess your risk, pick your battles big time.
Yeah.
Try to trade through news if you can help it. Just through my own personal experience of being a trader, I find that, and I feel more comfortable as well, not going, oh, how's this news going to affect my trade?
Yeah.
Unless my trade is massively in profit, I got my stop loss moved into profit, you know, it's on a personal account, not a firm account, it's a bit of a different scenario. But in general, do I feel really comfortable holding a trade through news? No. Would I rather close it before news and just be safe, be out of it? Yes, I would.
Did exactly that last week before the election. Not last Wednesday, the Wednesday before. We were in a trade. We were bullish on Euro USD, short to mid-term. We got involved, and the night before the election, we closed out for 7.5% because I didn't want to be involved. Now, you got a flip of a coin there. It's either going to go to 25% or it's going to hit stop loss. I didn't want to be involved in that.
And you can't worry about what happens after.
I just took the money out off the table. And what happened? It hit stop loss. So I did the right thing.
TTM, take the money.
Yeah, there's going to be so many times where you get FOMO. Oh, I don't want to miss out. I'll leave the trade open. Boom, slippage. And that's it. Your account's gone.
Yeah, and then sometimes you'll close it and it would have hit TP. But you can't care.
Yeah, you can't care about that.
You cannot care. If you care too much, you'll never be a trader.
No.
The one that cares less holds all the power. It's as simple as that. You got to care less, and then your trading will start to take off a lot more than what it currently is.
So make sure before you trade, because this is the main point of this podcast, because we see so many people get smashed to bits by news, right? Check the news. If there's a big red folder on Forex Calendar, on Forex Factory, then don't do it. Just leave it. Take it as a day off. Because if you were working a job and your boss said, oh, look, we've got these 3 days in the calendar where you're going to come to work and the chances are there's going to be an accident at work, right? We've done a risk assessment. On these days, all the diggers are driving around, you know, whatever's happening is really dangerous on site. There's a chance there's going to be an accident. You go, well, I won't go to work that day.
I won't go to work.
I don't want to get run over. I won't go to work.
No, and that's exactly the same with trading. You pick your own battles.
That's it.
And if you decide to enter trades and pick a battle on a day where maybe you shouldn't have done, you know it. You know you shouldn't be in a trade because immediately, as soon as you enter that trade, you start to feel different. You feel a bit of pressure. You're checking the trade a bit more.
Feel emotional.
Or it's nearly time for the news now. It's going to be 5 more minutes. You're looking at, should I close it? Should I keep it open?
Yeah.
And you're asking yourself all these different questions that you shouldn't even be asking yourself. Then what happens when you enter a trade when you shouldn't really be in a trade? Bad decision making. And usually leads to your demise.
Yeah, exactly. It's usually one of the main things that ruins traders. And not just that. Another quick point. We've actually had people before say, right, well, if the news is going to do this, it's going to go up or down. So what I'll do is I'll open a buy,
a pending order,
and a sell pending order. And what will happen is, it depends on which way the market goes. If I put it 10 pips above price, 10 pips below price, if the market goes up, it will trigger my pending order. Now that, in essence, is a really good idea. However, it won't work because what the brokers do is they open the spread. So they increase the spread to say 15 pips, which means both your long and your short at 10 pips either side of price now been triggered. Yep. So you're in a buy and a sell.
Now you're hedging.
Now you're fucked because one's going to win and one's going to lose. Or it's going to spike up one way, hit stop loss, spike down the other way, hit stop loss, and now you've lost. You've been double fucked.
You've been double fucked.
Double fucked.
Yeah, I'd say definitely don't try things like that. Many people have. But what you're saying is, if I could put a pending order either side of the news, I'm fully outsmarting the financial markets.
Which you can't do.
No, you can't do. Right, unless you have an edge that plays out over time.
Yeah.
There's no little hacks. There's no little arbitrary
small consistent
things that you can do. People try latency trading, martingale trading, grid trading. It all bites on the arse at the end. The only way to trade is 1, trade safe, 2, trade with correct risk management, 3, get a strategy which is going to give you a nice continuous edge over time.
That's it. That's all you need.
And that's how you make money in the market. It's not rocket science.
Nope.
And control this.
Yes, exactly.
See you next week.
See you next week.